The transom goes in on the $1,000 Zebra Skiff, but first we gotta prep the composite board, use a little ingenuity, and some industry tricks before we bond this thing in here for the rest of its life. Let's get to it. Just made it back from FGCI, picked up a couple of supplies. We got lightweight bonding putty, we're gonna need that for the transom, and we're gonna need that for the stringers and things. And then we also got, check this out, the 3/4 inch cabosil, and we got this 1/2 inch foam board that is called PET foam, high density, and this is what we're gonna use for the floor. So I'm gonna take this out and lay it up on the skiff. There you go. Alright, now we gotta find a flat space to put this on because this is not flat, so I don't want a bow in it. We're gonna put it in a flat space and we're gonna put some weight on top of it. So let's go do that. Alright, it's been a couple of days. The weather kind of turned for the worst. So this thing's been laid up for about 2 days, 3 days, and we're gonna come in now and sand it even, and we're gonna do a dry fit on the boat. So let's get to work and see if we could get this transom in today. All right, we got everything nice and sanded and even on the sides. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little trick that boat builders do to reinforce this even more when you go to lay it up against the transom. So I'll show you in a second. So now this is the back that's gonna go against the skin of the transom, and the bow side is on the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I've got my drill, I marked it at 1/2 inch, and we're gonna go drilling every 6 inches or so all across the transom. That way the resin, or in this case the lightweight putty we're gonna use to bond to the transom, has something else to stick on. It's not just on the surface. It's gonna dig into those little holes, gonna fill those holes, and you're gonna get a better grip. So let's go ahead and start drilling. And there you have it. Got all the holes drilled. So now let's go ahead and get a test fit. Success. All right, we got a pretty good fit. So now if you notice back here, this is all wobbly and all funky, and that's all right because we need to clamp this transom to this transom skin to this actual cabosil piece. So there's a couple ways to do this. Fish Bump TV has an awesome channel, and they actually make these clamps to hold the core material against the skin when they're making transoms. Now that's for maybe a bigger boat. This is a smaller boat, so you don't really need to make clamps like that, I don't think. I have another idea. I have these older clamps. Actually, these are old clamps from the 50s. So I'm going to use these clamps up here in the corner because there's not much space to this transom is pretty small, right? And then what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to run a 2x4 across here. Going to make some holes through the motor mount holes, and we're going to put a 2x4 and sandwich it in together on both sides, and then screw it together. And we're going to use these bolts with washers to sandwich all that together and hopefully get some even pressure. So we'll have the 2 clamps on each side. We'll have a 2x4 up top here, another one down here, and then for the bottom of the transom, my dad had a pretty good idea of using this jack, putting this jack like this, and then putting a piece of wood there and holding it together. And I thought that was pretty cool, some Cuban ingenuity. Pretty much that's it. We're going to do a test fit and then get everything ready for the actual fitment, and we should be good to go. So I got a 2x6, a 1x6 to get it as far across as I could, and I only used the motor holes here to use these long bolts to go through to squeeze that together. I'm also using these clamps, these heavy duty clamps, and then I'm using these vice clamps here as well to get all the way down to the bottom. To get to the corners, I got these other smaller clamps, and that so this is the dry fit. Cuban ingenuity over here, my dad with this car jack to get the bottom, even though the bottom is pretty tight up in there, but we just squeeze it here and it pushes that bottom part up against the hole. So we I think we're squared away. I'm going to take all of this apart. I'm going to organize here, clean up, just so I get everything that I don't need out of the way. I'm going to charge my impact drill. I'm going to charge this up so it's nice and ready. Get everything out of the way so I don't get confused with any of the parts, and everything just goes as smooth as possible. So, I mean, it looks good. I'm excited with the fit. It's so far it's come out really good. Take your time when you're doing this. You don't want to rush this. I've always rushed things when it comes to restoring these boats, because I want it to come out right. So I took out the board and I'm kind of getting myself ready. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come with a 40 grit piece of sandpaper just to rough it up a little bit. Then we're going to hit it with some acetone all up on the bottom, all throughout this area, and we're going to let that dry up. I'm going to vacuum all this stuff out, and then we're going to come in with our lightweight bonding putty, and I'm going to trowel all this out. Trowel this out, spread it all nice and even there. And I'm also going to spread some on here, and I'm going to go in and spread some extra on the bottom here so we can slide that in there and get a good fit. But so let me clean up. All right, I came in with the 40 grit, scuffed it up a little bit. It's still tacky. Remember, we just laid this up like 2 days ago, so it's still fresh. So even now you touch it and it's tacky once you wipe it down with that acetone. So this is ready to go. I've laid out all my tools the way I'm going to use them, where they're supposed to go. So this goes on the outside, this goes with that. This is the top part, this is the bottom brace. These are all the bolts. It's a bottom brace. This guy goes with this guy goes with that, and everything that's not supposed to be here is out of the way. Now we're going to go take out our bonding putty so we can start measuring out. I'm not sure exactly how much I'm going to need, but I'm going to make a good amount. This is the lightweight bonding putty. This is for bedding stringers, piecing, putting pieces together like at the Transom. Super high strength, and it's very lightweight. I'm going to use it on the Seacraft as well. I'm also going to use the same material to put the decking on the Zebra Skiff. So let's open this up. So we got our MEK ready to rock, and these are the mixing conditions. We're going to do 3 separate quarts, so we're going to mix at 9 cc's. I'm going to go separating that out. These are 16 ounces more or less. I'm going with about 12 cc's. So mix that up good, pup. I like using the pink MEK or the dyed MEK because That lets you know when it's mixed. You'll get a pink consistency. All right, let's start doing it, Pop. All right, everything's laid up. This worked out really good. And my dad put in some extra clamps here at the end to squeeze everything down. Wow, what was it, like 20 minutes before it got hard? It's still not even that hard. 20, 30 minutes. Well, the temperature is like what, 75, 73? 75? Yeah, so it's cool. So we had some more time to work with it, but we have to come in and do the radiuses again because this stuff really moves. So we'll have to like sand that a little bit and then come in with some putty, some cabosil, and lay a nice fillet on the inside. All right, I'm gonna leave this overnight. I'm gonna come back tomorrow and we're gonna fiberglass the entire transom after we make, first we're gonna make the fillets and sand all this down to get it nice and smooth to some fresh glass. We're gonna make the fillets. We're gonna put a couple layers of 1708 over the transom, tie it into the sides and the whole bottom. And we're gonna start on the floor in the next video as well. And then we'll start putting it together. So I'll see you next week.